Thanks very much, Dale, for joining us. I know this is going to be really interesting and very helpful for the people watching. So probably the best place to start is where did your pain start, or how long have you had your pain before you came across this work?
My first recollection of a backache, I was probably 13, and my mum took me to the doctors, and the diagnosis was growing pains. I'd always done exercise, and I would put it down to exercise, and I would stop running, stop doing weights, my back would get better, and then I'd go back onto weights, or I'd go back onto running. And then it got to a point where I were at work in retail, and I'd progressed to deputy manager. You did a lot of lifting. Sciatica, I was diagnosed, because I had the pain all the way down my left side, and I can remember I could hardly feel, there were hardly any sensation. And then I would have episodes.
From what you're saying, you've had pain from teenage years, and then it will literally come and go for decades. Is that right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
When did it start getting worse?
Well, I would say I'd always had it, and then some episodes would be really bad. I remember at one point I'd got one of those back supports, and I wore that to work. You develop the belief that you have to have that on to protect your back, or I would be ill again with my back. And even to get out of a belief like that, not to wear the belt, I would always look at it from a physical point of view, never an emotional one. I used to get up in the morning and I'd go into the bathroom, and straight away I'd be like, why have they left the drawer open? Why is that top up on there? Why can't they fold towels? And, by the time I got down to the stairs, and then you come into the kitchen, and I'd be saying, can you put that back? And now I just think, you know what? They've left the drawer open. That's that. And you don't realise how much little things can, or used to, have an effect.
How did you start changing that focus on the physical?
It got really bad, and I was off work. And it was probably the worst, where I couldn't even get from here to the car. I couldn't walk. Looking back now, you can actually see why it did, because you're not doing anything physical, but emotionally you're thinking, well, am I going to keep my job? Am I going to get paid? So I was off work. I was kind of in a place of despair.
Yeah. How long did that go on for?
It was for about 1.5 years in end. So it weren't just my lower back. It was my upper back. So I got it down there and down my leg. So they referred me to, I think it was pain clinic. And really all they talked about was medication. So all they did is they examined you, said, oh, you can't do this and you can't do that. So here's a sheet of paper and try and do this exercise twice a day. In fact, I got to a point where I couldn't even sit down. I used to be laid down on the floor. And I more or less ate my tea on the floor, and I was restricted in what I could do at home. Even at night time, the pain would wake me up. And I think that were the worst and darkest times. I went to physio, chiros, osteos, hypnosis, acupuncture. So your life would it depended on how my back was.
Yeah. What did the MRI scans show when you saw the specialist?
For the neck was disc degeneration and a trapped nerve. Mm-hmm. At the bottom, I'd got an annular tear, disc degeneration, and a bulging disc. And I didn't meet the criteria for an operation on your spine because it's too risky. Right. And the pain I would just have to learn to live with was what the specialist told me. We're kind of used to, in our society, of if you're ill, you go to the doctor and the doctor fixes it, and you believe in that system, and you're in that position, and they're saying there's nothing we can do for you. And that actually happens. They were talking about if you want to get out and about, get one of those buggies. It were really, really difficult. I can remember being discharged, and you think, well, I'm out here on my own.
So when did this start changing?
We were having this return to work interview, and they were talking about how long it's going to be, and I'd had to go and see the hospital specialist. She said to me, "Oh, it sounds like you've got TMS." And I said, "Well, what's TMS?" And I'd never heard of TMS. I didn't really understand what it were, and I don't know if I got it right, but I got your CD, and then that was it. I got Dr. Sarno's book, the next book, and the next book. You know, if you say a miracle, when I look back now, I think people think, oh, there's a miracle cure. And when you look at it, it really is a miracle cure, because I'd gone through all these, you know, the things that I'd tried physically, the medication, when I'd look at all the different medication I'd gone through, you know, the core exercises. And what you've got is, you've got scans this side and all the clinical and all the beliefs and all that saying, well, this is a spine and it's broken and and you can see the actual pictures, and you've got someone else, you know, saying it's all in the mind.
But looking back now, would you say that actually taking longer, you learned more and actually it was more beneficial for you?
Yeah. Stress it's not the actual event, is it? It's the meaning that you give it. So it's the learning of all those things. So the thought strategies, catastrophizing, over-analysing, looking into the future, going into the past, and it's over a period of time. And that's the other thing, is learning that it's not the first time, is it? It's the habit that you've got to change it, and it's bit by bit.
Oh, it's a life journey.
Oh, it is, and I still get times now where I can get wound up, excited, angry, emotional. I think I've probably had a couple of episodes, and I kind of have to go, oh, what's that? And then what I do is I think, oh, right, well, I've not been meditating. You know, you get into a busy period, or there's something else going on, and then I'll have to say to myself, stop.
Just wanted to say thank you so much for being willing to share your story, because I know it's going to be so helpful, and it's been really fascinating listening to the different insights that you've gained on your journey. So thank you very much.
Thank you.